Hello, hello and welcome to my channel. So week ago or so I posted a video about my real budget when I retire in a few weeks. And in that video I talked about a few items that may be a bit... And in that video I talked about a few items that may be a bit different from what you are used to in your country. And I thought I would address that and talk about those things. I will try. There are a few items I am not sure I understand myself, but here goes. So, the first big thing perhaps is, how can she not know how much she is getting in retirement? And I can see that. That is a big weird thing to say, but I do not. And here's why. So I do not pay into my own account when I retire. It's deducted from before I retire. It's deducted from my pay. It's a pay-as-you-go system where my taxes is paid into the government or the state, and those money will fund retired people that are retiring now. So while I work, I pay for the people who are retiring then, and when I retire I will be receiving my part of my retirement from the people that are working now. So while I work I acquire pension rights, and those rights will then be calculated from the total lifetime income when I retire. So I do not have control over my own money, my own fund for my retirement. If I have not saved any myself, I can of course privately, but what I get from the state, that is not something I control. It's not a bank account with my name on it. So that's the reason. There's another reason as well. So that's sort of the big thing, and it can also change. So it's not a fixed amount. In my budget, I talked about the amount of 28,000 Norwegian kroners, and that's what I know now. But it can change. And why can it change? So, I have a few months before I retire from the moment they set this amount. And those wages on the way to retirement will also add up. So I might get the pension will be a bit higher because of that. And also when I become 65, which I'm not yet, but it's just a few weeks from now, then I will get one step on the wage level. So I will get an increase in my wage, which is sort of, when I think about it, it does not make any financial sense to retire now, but here I am. So yeah, so that means also that my pension might increase a bit, not by much, but a bit. And then there's tax. I do not know yet how much they will, how much I need to pay in taxes. It can vary a lot, depending on my fortune, what I own, the apartment, the value on the apartment, etc., etc. So I will know when I get my first payment, which is kind of scary, but I know that it might be 28,000, and I have shown in my last budget that I can live on that, and it will not become any lower. So that's a good thing. Yes. And another thing that will also make my pension become a bit larger is that it's tied to the settlement between employers and employee organization that happens every year. And when they go together and agree on a set amount of increase in people's salary over several professions, that will also include pensions. So it's sort of an average, yeah. So all this together, all this added up, makes it so that my pension is in a fluid state at the moment. Yes. But hey, 28,000. It can be that, and I can live on that. And if it gets any higher, I will be pleased, of course. It will be great. Yeah. And then I want to address maybe a misconception, which is this huge sovereign wealth fund that Norway has. And the misconception is that my money, my pension, comes from there. No, not directly, no. While it's called a pension fund, it's a sovereign wealth fund, and the government can only use 3% of the fund's annual returns. And it uses that to as a cushion to pay for the extra social securities and social safety nets that we have in Norway. And yeah, pension is one of those things. But there are a few other items there as well. What I am retiring into is a contractual early retirement plan. In Norwegian it's called AFP, Avtalefestet pensjon. And it was originally created for people who had physical jobs and needed to retire early. And with this AFP, they can. My profession, a teacher, was also included in that. And you can retire with this system from 62. But of course, the earlier you retire with this system, the less money you will get. You will receive over the course of your lifetime. So I've decided I will use this opportunity at 65. And then when I get at the age of 67, I will then be a sort of ordinary retired person. Yes, it's a lot. All right. So the next item on my budget that may be a bit confusing to people is the amount of insurance I had. It was not much, it was 500 Norwegian kroners. And you might wonder, where is the health insurance? Where have you put money for that? Where are you saving those money? Shouldn't you be acquiring or saving for your health? Maybe you should have a sinking fund for that or something. The thing is, and here's the thing, we have universal health plan in Norway. I think it's called that, which means that everything above 3,278 Norwegian kroners is free. So we have this system of a GP, a family doctor, and this is the person that will follow you during your lifetime. I have a doctor, a GP, and I've had the same doctor since '87. It's a great system because these GPs learn you and your health, and it's easier to talk to because they know how your body works. These GPs, these family doctors, they are gatekeepers for other specialists. And for example, if I had a heart problem, I would go to my GP first. He would examine me, and then he would refer me to a specialist. And when I get to the specialist, he will also refer me if I needed something else. So every time I go to a GP or a doctor, I pay a user fee, which may be from 200 to 300 Norwegian kroners per appointment. If I use medicine that is required. If I use medicine that I need in order to be able to work, that is also in this sum of maximum of 3,278 Norwegian kroners. So when I was young, when I was a teenager or as a young adult, I didn't go to the GP very much, sometimes, maybe once a year. And no medicine to speak of. As I have grown older, I have reached that limit earlier in the year. So after 3,278 kroners in 2026, everything I do health-wise is free. So if that time comes when I'm then sent to a specialist, and the specialist sends me to a hospital, I do not need to pay anything. It's all free. What I could do is perhaps save up for those 3,278 kroners before the free slate kicks in. I have considered maybe putting up another account for that. But I'm thinking maybe I can use my emergency funds for that, or maybe the budget item miscellaneous. But so far I have not thought that I needed something special for that. But it's something to consider. What I do need to consider is, as I stated in my previous video, that perhaps the budget item insurance is a bit low anyway, because of the house and the travel insurance for me and my son, perhaps. But I need to consider that as well. So the last item I wanted to talk about and try to explain a bit more is this large sum of money that is, I think I wrote living expenses, but it's really payment for my apartment. And in that is included two things. The amount is 12,000 Norwegian kroners, and that's a bit high, you might think. But it's sort of two things included in that. One is the loan, my own loan. I went to the bank and I asked for a loan, and I pay back that. That is the mortgage. And then, that is the mortgage. And then there's another huge expense, and that is 7,000 Norwegian kroners. So my loan is 5,000, and there's another big sum of money in that budget item, and that is 7,000, and that is a payment I pay to my housing cooperative. So not the bank, the housing cooperative, because my housing cooperative has taken a big loan on my behalf and everybody else that lives in the complex, and I am paying down that. My share of that debt is included in those 7,000. And also we have a janitor service that is servicing all the buildings. We also have people who come and wash the staircases. That is included. And we have a board. We have a board of people who are working for our benefit, who are acquiring services, electrical, all those sorts of things that are needed when you are working with so many different departments and so many buildings. And we, as a collective, we pay their salary. So all in all, 7,000 is not much in total for all that, but it adds up to 12,000 Norwegian kroners a month. I hope that you got your questions answered, and that I didn't mess up too much and tried and was able to explain these sort of country-specific systems. Yeah. If you have any more questions, just comment in the video below. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.